I'm Simon Shapiro, and this is Sing Out, Speak Out. Hello, and welcome back to Sing Out, Speak Out. This is episode number 2. I'm not sure if I'm happier about the fact that last week's show, the first show, got a really good response. Got some beautiful feedback, or that I'm here again a week later doing it as I promised to you I would, and I promised myself I would. I just want to share with you one thing of the many things that I learnt from last week's show, and that is title the show with the same name as the song that you sing. Okay, that's a note to myself. Last week I chose what I thought was a esoteric, funky, arty title for the show based on a line from the song that I sang, which tied in with what I wanted to talk about. But some people went looking for that song based on that title, and that's not the name of the song. So for ease of reference from now on, the title of the show will be the same as the title of the song. So this week, the title of the show and the song is I Want to Fly Like Superman. And why now? Because right now, what I'm seeing, this is the people that I live with and I love, the people that I work with. This is through the connections that I have in the community. I'm seeing this on the social media feeds of people that I'm connected with. And in general, on the news and everywhere else, there's a fair bit of concern at the moment, a bit of despondency. I might even call it hopelessness in a way, because Australia's on fire. We have the political system seems to be in crisis. And this is not just happening here, it seems to be happening in a lot of countries. We have a lot of debates and heated, ugly debates going on around religious freedoms, around, privacy and beliefs, hardcore beliefs that people have. We have this climate debate that is absolutely polarizing people. It's almost like you can't have an opinion without offending half the population. And so a lot of people are looking on, no matter where you sit in any of these debates, and feeling that, well, where are we? Are we in crisis? Is the world in real crisis at the moment? Are we in a situation that may even be hopeless? And what I wanted to talk about today is that feeling of hopelessness, because I've been there plenty of times, and I just want to share with you a couple of simple things that I know about hopelessness. And I'm not here to counsel or, be a psychologist or try and teach anyone how not to feel hopelessness. Quite the opposite. I feel that we need to feel our emotions, whatever they are, in order to move through them. And that's not counselling or psychological advice. I'm really going to talk about myself and my own experience. So I've got to go back more than 25 years. So we're going to go back to the early 90s. This is a situation in my life where I had just moved out of home, living on my own for the very first time. And in this particular point of time, I had almost no money. If I did get any money, I had no skills with how to manage it. I was in a bad mental, emotional place. I was in a relationship that was destructive. I was pretty much a self-sabotaging type of person. Now, at the same point of time, I also, which I didn't realize at the time, I had glandular fever. So I just thought I was really depressed, and that's why I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. But I had this illness, which I found out later. Now, around about the same point of time, I was in my flat, living in right near King's Cross, which at that time was pretty much a hub of drugs and sex and all kinds of, seedy things. And I was living in there. I mean, I guess lucky for me, I didn't either have the connections or the money to invest in those worlds. So, but I was invested in my own turmoil, in my own kind of seediness, which for me was not believing in myself and allowing myself to be pretty much run on that train of negative thought for a lot of the time. Now, at the very, very darkest point, this happened to coincide with the unit above me having a problem with their plumbing and water coming down through the walls, which I didn't know. All I knew is that every time I brush my teeth, I get this tingly feeling. Every time I had a shower, again, it's like this zingy, zappy type of tingling all over my skin. Every time I'd step on the bathroom floor, my feet would tingle. I thought, I didn't think much of it. Until one day I got an electric shock. when I stepped out of the shower. I called the housing commission. The electrician came over and he turned the power straight off. He said, "There's enough electricity on this floor to kill an elephant." He said, "Like, either somebody is looking after you or you are extremely lucky, or this just happened today." I said, "No, it's been like this for a month." I said, "Well, count yourself very lucky." I didn't count myself very lucky, but at that time I wasn't feeling lucky, so I thought, okay, whatever. The electricity was turned off. I was in the darkness as the sun set, and I couldn't have my usual baked beans on toast. I just had to have cold baked beans on old bread for dinner that night. But what I did have was my piano, and I sat on that piano, and as the light went from day to virtually just the street light I could see, I sat on that piano and I wrote this song. And it wasn't a happy song, but I wrote it. It was called "I Want to Fly Like Superman." And of course it was a song about being down, being in despair, a song about feeling helpless and not able to do anything about my situation or the world's situation as I saw it then. And I cared about both. I cared about my world and I cared about myself, So all I really wanted to say is, after all that, the way that I got out of my hopelessness was to express it. So by putting it in the shape of a song, then that gave it a voice, and that did help me connect my despair with the real world. And it didn't eliminate the problem. It didn't make me feel less hopeless straight away. But that song was a pivotal song for me. It was the first song that I ever sent out to people outside of my family or my world that was actually received by some pretty important people, and they recognized something in it. Now, I'd had people react to songs I've done before, and I've always enjoyed that reaction, but I never had a lot of reaction from people in the industry. And so out of that hopelessness, I created something that was a turning point for me, because I used that song as a template to make my whole next album. And a lot of things stemmed from there, So really, all I want to say is there is hope in hopelessness. And part of that is realizing that we're not the only ones to feel it. And that's the first step. Next week, I'm going to take that up another notch, but that's where I wanted to start. So now I'm going to sing for you the song called "I Want to Fly Like Superman," and I hope you enjoy it. Love and hate play tug of war. We are soldiers, one and all, marching in the battlefields of mind. Self-destruction will caress the sweet seduction of progress. We are the victims and villains of our time, and we paint the world with lies, but they're the ones who have to pay. As history reads between the lines, all the meaning is swept away. I wanna fly like Superman, be the hero of the land, sail the world with my bare hands. 'Cause I can hear the people cry through my window, watch them die, but I don't wanna stand by. History turns a page on us, the golden age of broken trust, betrayal of the deepest kind. Technology will veil the truth, a generation waits for proof that we're not running out of time. We throw our money into the sky, leave the world below to die. We are so generous with words, generous with lies. I wanna fly like Superman, be the hero of the land, sail the try. We are so generous with words, generous with lies. I wanna fly like Superman, be the hero of the land, sail the world with my bands. 'Cause I can hear the people cry through my window, watch them die, but I don't wanna stand by. I wanna fly like Superman, be the hero of the land, sail the world with my bands. 'Cause I can hear the people cry through my window, watch them die, but I don't wanna stand by. Love and hate play tug of war. We are soldiers, one and all, marching in the battlefields.
To all reluctant acrobats, pushovers and front door mats, searching